Welcome to The Good Ride. I'm James Beastie. Today I'm talking about the GNU RCC3, a board I recently reviewed but need to update because it now has risers over the inserts. If you rode the old Dark series in the past, you'll know what I'm talking about. I got this in firm but fair snow at the demos. I wasn't able to get on it for an extended demo, but I had the old RCC3 for an extended time and I know it very well, so I just needed to figure out what these plates were doing to give you an updated review. When it comes to sizing, this 157.5 fit me perfect. This is the size I would get. I wouldn't want to size up or down, felt just right. Some things that might make you want to swipe right. This has a mellow C3 camber that has good grip, a nice asymmetrical turning experience that works really well for people who ride perfectly duck. Some things that might make you want to swipe left. This is one of the last boards I want to be on when powder comes. This base is a little bit slow. This form of C3 doesn't quite have as much pop as some C3, and that might be a deal breaker for some. Now, this is an asymmetrical twin. This has a shorter, deeper side cut for your heels. It has a longer, shallower side cut for your toes that matches perfectly with the duck stance. So this is more twin than a true twin. I love asym boards, especially when I set them up 15, -15, or 12, -12. It's just a fun, centered feel. Now, when it comes to camber, there's a mellow C3. It seems to be the same camber profile as the old RCC3 I tried, especially on same-day comparisons with other full camber boards. I felt like it was a very mellow camber, but that's kind of good for what they're going for with this board in some ways, because it definitely is a little more forgiving than most true full camber rides, but it's still a good step above most other hybrid camber boards out there. So it's a little more technical, a little more locked in, but not beyond a hard charging intermediate who's willing to catch an edge every now and then to get better. And speaking of edge hold, there is very competent grip, and they're even asymmetrical in their edge hold. It seems like it's a little more aggressive on the heel side and a little less aggressive on the toe side. As snowboarders, especially most average snowboarders, sometimes we have trouble turning on our heel side. So this helps compensate for it. A lot of people say, oh, I like this board, but it was washy on my heel side turn. That's actually your problem, not the board's, but this helps deal with average guy problems like a lot of us have. Now, when it comes to the flex, they say 6 out of 10. I felt like it was about there, maybe 5 or 6 out of 10, but the flex can vary from board to board. It was pretty easy to butter and it had decent pop, but I think these new risers, this 3D tech, I think they call it now 3D asym chip power platforms, but these little risers stiffen up the board a little bit more between the feet. The older one felt a little bit more easy to access. This just feels a little bit more work, but still well within the realm of easy pop. In terms of dampness, uneven terrain, and how this rides all day, I think it's a great board. It'll do a little better in soft, uneven snow than before, but still do fine in hard snow. I just like the way Mervin has their construction where it feels like it accentuates the wood and makes a board feel poppy, but it doesn't feel too chattery or cranky when the snow gets uneven. Yes, there are boards that are better, but this is still a great all-day ride. Now, with the new risers, you can go a little faster than you could before, but this is still a mellow mountain freestyle kind of board. It's not the best for straight lining. If you want a board similar to this, you might like the new TRS, which I compared same day with this. And I think that's just a little bit more competent at speed. Neither are true straight liners though, but you know, a little bit better for a mountain freestyle board. As far as base glide goes, they just don't really have it here with Mervin. They don't have the same kind of base glide that a lot of brands do at this price point. It needs to be waxed a lot to stay glidey, but it doesn't have low lows either. When it comes to the turning experience, I thought the turn initiation was really quick, and it didn't feel hooky or twitchy though, so that was good. Then when I got it on edge, I felt like it's a very balanced turning experience. Maybe a touch on the turny side, but overall, fun for across the groomer carves. Down the line carves are okay, and you could circle carve with this. I really liked the way this felt carving duck. I liked the spring out of the turn. It's not amazing. It doesn't have that like anti-gravity dynamo kind of C3 spring out of the turn, but it's somewhat similar to the TRS, and I think a lot of people will be more than fine with this for an ASIM twin. Powder, didn't ride it in powder, no thanks, don't want to. I've ridden enough Camber twins in my life to know I don't like it. But if you like Camber ASIM twins in powder, sure, this will be fine. Now when it comes to switch, this is perfect switch. This just makes average riders better riding switch because of that asymmetrical side cut that matches up duck. If you're not perfectly duck, let's say you're plus 18, negative 9, it might feel a little off. You have to ride this perfectly duck, like 12, negative 12, 15, negative 15. That's how this board works the best. But this will ride pipe like a champ. This will hit kickers very well. And as it softens up, it could be an okay jib board. So overall, I think the GNU RC C3 is a very fun asymmetrical twin. I think if you want a lot more pop out of an asymmetrical twin and a lot more of that full camber feel without the catch, you can get that from the Gammas, the Gamma APX and the Gamma. They don't butter that well, but they're giving you a lot more pop. This is gonna have a little more dampness. I personally like the Yes Greats a little bit better. I personally like the Ride Twin Pig a little bit better, but they're kind of on the shorter, wider with the Greats to really short and really wide with the Twin Pig for me. If you want a traditional size and you see a lot of hard snow, this could work.